Now, I want to acknowledge, because this looks like a very well-read and informed crowd, that there have been a bunch of critics about trade deals generally and the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And what's interesting is typically they're my friends coming from my party. And they're my fellow travelers on minimum wage and on job training and on clean energy and on every progressive issue. They're right there with me. And then on this one, they're like whooping on me. But I tell you what, I've run my last election. And the only reason I do something is because I think it's good for American workers and the American people and the American economy. I don't have any other rationale for doing what I do than that I think it's the best thing for the American people. And on this issue, on trade, I actually think some of my dearest friends are wrong. They're just wrong. And here's why. First of all, they say that this trade agreement will cost American jobs, and they're really basing this on some past experience, looking at what happened in the 90s, over the last 20 years, as there was a lot of outsourcing going on. And you know what? Past trade agreements, it's true, didn't always reflect our values or didn't always do enough to protect American workers. But that's why we're designing a different kind of trade deal. And the truth is that companies that only care about low wages, they've already moved. They don't need new trade deals to move. They've already outsourced. They've already located in search of low wages. What this trade agreement would do is open the doors to the higher skill, higher wage jobs of the future, jobs that we excel at. It would make sure our manufacturers who are operating at the higher end of the value chain are able to access these growing markets. And the fact is, over the past few years, our manufacturers have been steadily creating jobs for the first time since the 1990s. Under my administration, after more than a decade away from the top spot, business leaders around the world have declared the United States is the world's #1 place to invest for a third year in a row. Third year in a row. So the point is, outsourcing is already giving way to insourcing. Companies are starting to move back here to do more advanced manufacturing, and this is a trend we expect to continue. This trade deal would help that. Just this morning, as Mark may have mentioned, Nike announced that with the Trans-Pacific Partnership, it'll make new investments in advanced manufacturing, not overseas, but right here in the United States. And far more Nike products would be made in the USA. And that means thousands of new jobs in manufacturing and engineering and design at Nike facilities across the country, and potentially tens of thousands of new jobs along Nike's supply chain here at home. That's what trade can do. Look, I've spent 6.5 years trying to rescue this economy. 6.5 years of trying to revitalize American manufacturing, including rescuing an American auto industry that was on its back and is now fully recovered. So I would not risk any of that if I thought the trade deals were going to undermine it. The reason I'm for this is because I think it will enhance it and advance it.